is indicative of the audience, the general audience, men and women, rather than directing his order or speech to men and then women, because in Arabic you have a different connotation. كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ. We have ordained or had mandated the concept of fasting. The fasting, as the Sheikh has explained, in its original understanding of the meaning of fasting is to refrain from a certain act, mainly either the food, the drinks, or other activities, or as it had been mentioned before in various ayat or verses, that fasting was actually to refrain from one type of action, which was speech. In the surah of Maryam, salamullahi alayha, she had said that I had made a vow to the Almighty that I would not speak to a human or a person as a way to approach and to become more pious. The second part of the ayah says, كَمَا كُتِبَ, as it was ordained on those believers before you, meaning the other two faiths, Christianity and Judaism. The reason is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had written or had claimed this particular action, the spiritual action of refraining from, or actually denying the self, denying the body from certain desires, mainly foods and water, as it actually it has the purpose of training the spirit, and that training itself would elevate the human soul, the human conscience, into a level of piety and obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thus, this would lead to the main objective or the mission behind this action of refrainment from whatever that is people do indulge usually. And this is to become more pious and more fearful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to approach the comprehension and the concept of the closeness between the human mind, the human spirit, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thus things will become clearer, and the mind and the spirit will do as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would order the person to do or not to do. And this is what we call the taqwa. Taqwa is the highest level of faith, the highest level of obedience to Allah. And it actually gives the person that resilience to become more and more pious and obedient to the Almighty. And inshallah, the following days, Samaḥat al-Sheikh will continue with the interpretation of the following ayat. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Ali. Inshallah, we will continue tomorrow at the same time with more explanation and continue other verses of the fasts, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.